A very good evening one and all. I welcome you all to the daily newspaper analysis brought to you by the Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 21st June 2024. Today in our discussion we are going to see the topics which appeared in the 16th, 17th and 21st June 2024. Here are the list of articles which we are going to discuss today. So let's get started. Look at this article from 16th of June. A Russian bomber flew into Swedish airspace near the Baltic Sea island of Gotland. It left after Sweden sent 2 fighter jets to intercept it. See, this happens 3 months after Sweden joined NATO. See, this is the crux of the article. In preliminary, they may ask the places which were in news. So, let's study in detail about some of the seas which were in news. First one is Baltic Sea. The Baltic Sea is located in northern Europe, bordered by countries like Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Russia, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland and Germany. Here note that Russia is also bordering at 2 places. One area between Finland and Estonia and another small area between Lithuania and Poland. Also note that the sea is connected to the North Sea through Danish Straits. It's known for its unique brackish water ecosystem where salt water from the North Sea mixes with the fresh water from the rivers and streams. However, it has relatively low salinity due to the large amount of fresh water which will be flowing into it. Talking about economic importance, the Baltic Sea is crucial for its maritime routes in the northern Europe, facilitating the transport of goods, raw materials, etc. Ports like Stockholm, Helsinki, Dansk are significant for its commerce. Coastal cities and islands like Gotland, Island are the popular tourist destinations in the Baltic Sea. Also, check the map of island of Gotland in the Baltic Sea, which is in news today. This is all about the Baltic Sea. Second important sea is Caspian Sea. See, the Caspian Sea is situated between Europe and Asia and it is bordered by Russia, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Iran and Azerbaijan. It is the world's largest enclosed inland water body and is classified as either the largest lake or a full-fledged sea. Its salinity is roughly 1/3 that of the oceans. Also note that the river Volga, which is the longest river in Europe, flows into Caspian Sea. Kindly check its origin and post it in the comment section. Now talking about the importance, the Caspian Sea region is rich in oil and natural gas reserves. Countries around the Caspian Sea, particularly Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan, are significant energy producers of the world. See, the sea is home to unique species like Caspian seal and various sturgeon species. This is all about the Caspian Sea. Now let's talk about Black Sea. The Black Sea is bordered by 6 countries. They are Turkey, Bulgaria, Romania, Ukraine, Russia and Georgia. It connects to the Mediterranean Sea through Strait of Marmara and Dardanelles. Talking about the importance, the Black Sea is strategically important for the military and shipping purposes, providing access to Mediterranean Sea and by extension to Atlantic Ocean. Major ports like Odisha, Varna and Constanta facilitate the significant maritime trade and commerce in the region. It is almost entirely surrounded by land, making it a critical regional waterway. See, the sea has unique anoxic layer between the 200-meter depth, which means there is no oxygen and thus no marine life exists below the depth. So this is all regarding the discussion. In this discussion, we saw about 3 important seas around the world which are very important for the preliminary perspective. With this, let us move on to the next news article of the day. Look at this news article. It talks about the electromagnets which were invented in 1824 by British physicist William Sturgeon, and know that these electromagnets are vital in devices like loudspeakers, motors, MRI machines, maglev trains and particle accelerators. They generate magnetic fields when the electric current passes through the coiled wire. Using a ferromagnetic core like iron, it enhances the magnetic field's strength. See, superconducting and bitter electromagnets can produce extremely strong magnetic field which are crucial for the advanced technological applications. With this backdrop, let us see in brief about the electromagnets from the preliminary perspectives. So basically, what are electromagnets? See, electromagnets are magnets which are created by electricity. When electric current flows through a wire, it generates a magnetic field. If the wires are coiled, then the magnetic field gets stronger. Adding a metal core like iron inside the coil makes the magnet even more powerful. See, electromagnets can be turned off on with the use of current. Now look at the advantages and applications. As I said earlier, electromagnets can be turned on and off by controlling the electric current. They are more powerful than the permanent magnets because the magnetic field can be amplified by the magnetic core. See, electromagnets are widely used in the various devices like motors, generators, MRI machines, and magnetic separation equipments. Know that they can be used in various industries for tasks like lifting and moving heavy objects, sorting materials, and generating motions. They are also used in the medical settings for imaging in consumer devices like electric doorbells and card readers, etc. Moving forward, let us see some of the disadvantages in a brief. See, electromagnets require a continuous supply of electric power to maintain their magnetic field. They are less efficient than the permanent magnets in terms of usage of energy. Also, they heat up very fast as they can store huge amount of energy in their magnetic field, but if the electric current is interrupted, the energy will discharge. See, this is all regarding the discussion. In this discussion, we saw about the basics about electromagnets in a brief. With this, let us move on to discuss the next news article of the day. Look at this editorial article. Revenues from the goods and service tax GST has reached a record high of 2.1 lakh crore in April, boosted by the year-end compliances. In May, revenues for the April transactions were the fifth highest ever at 1,72,000 crores, up almost 10% from the previous year. Though this growth was slower compared to the previous month's 12.4% increase, this rise is the least since July 2021 during the second COVID-19 wave. See, over the past 3 years, the revenues of GST has typically grown at least by 11%. The first month's revenue of this fiscal year is 3% higher than the average monthly receipt of 1.68 lakh crore in 2023-24, while domestic transaction revenue grew by 15.3%, up from 13.4% in the previous month. Revenue from the goods imports fell for the second time in 3 months. Revenue growth has varied across the state, with 5 states seeing the decline in May and 8 states growing slower than the national average. Despite earlier concern about the underwhelming of GST revenue voiced by Union Finance Minister in 2021, those worries have now been diminished. See, this is the crux of the article. In our discussion today, let us see about the efficiency of GST from the mains answer writing approach. Before getting into discussion, look at the syllabus. It comes under paper 3 under the topic of Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development and employment. See, this is about the syllabus. Now, let us look at the question. The question is, the goods and services tax GST was heralded as one of the most significant indirect tax reforms since independence in India. Examine the performance of GST in India over the years. In this question, the key word is examine. The word examine means we have to inspect the positive and negatives of the topic in a detailed manner. In this answer, we have to say what are the benefits or achievements of implementing the GST. Then, we must also write about some points about the drawbacks of GST. The main body of the answer can be split into 2 parts. The first part should contain the success of implementing the GST, and the second part should write about the drawbacks of implementing it. Finally, in the conclusion part, you can give a balanced view of GST. See, this is how we are going to approach this question. Now, let us start with the introduction. See, here the question is about GST. As we have seen earlier, in the introduction, we can write some basics of GST. See, goods and service tax GST is a destination-based value-added tax that was introduced in 2017. It was aimed to streamline indirect tax structure and create one nation, one tax and one market in India. See, this is how you can give a simple introduction in 2 to 3 lines. You may also add some points like GST replaced the previous complex and inefficient tax regime which had 17 different taxes and surcharges like VAT, service tax, sales tax, etc. See, this can be your introduction. Now coming to the body part of the answer. Firstly, tax base and income expansion. See, phenomenal growth in the GST collections from 7.19 lakh crores in financial year 2017 to 18 to 18 lakh crores in financial year 2022-23, showcasing a 22% increase from the last financial year. Increased revenue collection. See, GST boosted the revenue collection through a broader tax base and better compliances. For example, if you take the total gross revenue collection in the first half of fiscal year 24, it is 9.92 lakh crores. This is a 11% growth compared to previous year. If you look at the average monthly collection for the first half of fiscal year 23-24, it was 1.65 lakh crores. See, this is 11% higher than the average monthly gross collection for the 22-23 financial year. Thirdly, increased tax returns. See, tax returns increased after the implementation of GST. This means more and more businesses and individuals are filing their returns with the tax authorities. As GST aims to bring more businesses under the tax net, the widening of the tax base naturally leads to more tax returns being filed. See, stricter enforcement of the GST regulations, including penalty for the non-compliances, can encourage more businesses to file their return to avoid legal consequences. Fourthly, it has helped in formalization of economy. As we saw, tax base expanded rapidly after the implementation of GST, with 6.6 lakh new agents previously outside the tax net have been brought under the GST regime. Also, the implementation of the e-way bill system has helped to simplify the transportation of products across various states. Fifthly, the establishment of the GST Council represents the cooperative federalism spirit where both central and state government come together to take key policy decisions. For example, the rationalization of the tax rates on the several items over the years, taking suggestions from the different states. Lastly, digital transformation. See, it encouraged the digital transactions and improved tax administration through GSTN. This technological upgradedness reduced the tax evasion and simplified the tax filing processes. See, these are all some of the advantages regarding the GST. We can also include the key points which are mentioned in the article that we discussed earlier. Now coming on to the second part of the answer, we shall explain what are the issues with the GST implementation since 2017. Firstly, low tax to GDP ratio. See, India's tax to GDP ratio stand around 11%, which is significantly lower than the global average of 15%, signaling a substantial informal sector and poor compliances, hindering the revenue generation of India. Secondly, skewed GST payers base. The distribution of the GST payers among the states and the sectors are uneven. Certain states contributing disproportionately to the GDP and some sectors facing overrepresentation or underrepresentation in the GST system. Thirdly, complexity for the small enterprises. See, compliances and administrative processes pose significant challenges for the small enterprises, exacerbated by the frequent changes in the GST rates and procedures, causing confusion and compliance issues. Fourthly, issue with the GST interface. See, submission of returns is delayed due to faults and challenges with the GSTN. See, this may impact the efficiency of the tax filing processes. See, in our discussion, here we have explained the benefits and challenges of GST in the body part of the answer. Having completed this, let us move on to the conclusion. See, note that we should provide a conclusion with a balanced point of view. The conclusion can be like this. To fulfill the promise of GST and the establishment of the Viksit Bharat by 2047, the government must overcome the implementation-related obstacles and concerns. Improving the GST dispute resolution process and increasing the taxpayer education and awarenesses may help the long-term effectiveness of the GST as a reform. See, the GST has undoubtedly brought about significant changes in the India's indirect tax system. However, it also faced challenges related to compliances, complexity and the impact of small businesses. Overall, it has been a significant step towards a more efficient and integrated Indian economy, but it requires constant evolution and refinement to achieve its full potential. See, this can be your conclusion. This is all regarding the discussion. In this discussion, we saw about what is GST and the efficacy of the GST from the mains point of view. With this, let us move on to discuss the next news article of the day. Look at this 17th June article. Lokesh Raghuraman from Tamil Nadu won the Sahitya Akademi Yuva Puraskar for his first Tamil short story collection called Vishnu Vandar. His book, which was released in January 23, contains 10 stories that highlights the importance of nature and its importance. This is the news article given in Hindu. We know that UPSC started asking topics which are very similar to this in the examination. So it is in our best interest to study this. So in our discussion today, we shall know about Sahitya Akademi from the preliminary perspective. Firstly, let us check the history of the Academy. See, the idea for the National Academy of Letters in India was considered by the British government before independence. In 1944, Government of India agreed with a proposal to create a National Cultural Trust, including an Academy of Letters. Post-independence, the Indian government held conferences to finalize the events, eventually leading to the creation of 3 national academies. That is, one for letters, one for visual art, one for dance, drama and music. Now coming to the establishment, the Sahitya Akademi was officially established by the Government of India in 1952 and formally inaugurated in 1954. Note that it was registered as a society in 1956 under the Society Registration Act 1860. Now coming to the functions, Sahitya Akademi promotes literary dialogue, publication and activities in 24 Indian languages. Here 24 includes 22 which are listed in the Indian Constitution plus English and Rajasthani. Secondly, it encourages good reading habits and maintain dialogue among the different linguistics and literary groups through various activities like seminar, lecture, discussion and performance. Thirdly, it promotes translations and publishes a wide range of literary works including journals, monographs and anthologies. Annually, it organizes at least 50 seminars and about 300 literary gatherings such as Meet the Author, Yuva Sahitya, etc. Moreover, Sahitya Akademi gives 24 awards each year for the literary works and translations in recognized Indian languages. See, last week the Academy announces the winners for the 2024 Yuva Puraskar and Bal Sahitya Puraskar awards. A total of 23 young writers including K. Vaishali for her memoir Homeless, Growing Up Lesbian and Dyslexic in India and Gaurav Pandey for his poetry collection called Smritiyan Ki Beach Giri Hai Prithvi. Know that they will receive Yuva Puraskar. The winner in Sanskrit will be announced later. The Yuva Puraskar recognized works in various genres including poetry, short story, essay, memoirs and winners will receive a plaque and 50,000 rupees. Additionally, 24 authors has been selected for Bal Sahitya Puraskar which honors the literature for children's. Notable winners include Nandini Sengupta for the Blue Horse and other amazing animal stories from Indian history and Devendra Kumar for 51 Bal Kahaniyan. See, this awards include a plaque and 50,000 to be presented at the future ceremony. See, this is all regarding the discussion. In this discussion, we saw about Sahitya Akademi Awards from the preliminary perspective. With this knowledge, let us move on to discuss the next news article of the day. Look at this news article about Vadhavan Port project. See, this project costs 76,220 crores and it's drawing interest from both Indian and international financial institutions like Power Finance Corporation, Rural Electrification Corporation and Japan International Cooperation Agency. This project was approved by Union Cabinet and will be developed as a joint venture between JNPT and Maharashtra Maritime Board. Know that it will be built in two phases and the decision to use whether the Indian funds or the foreign fund is still pending. See, this is the basic crux of the article. We know that UPSC has asked Greenfield airport projects in the 2024 prelims which held last week. In a similar way, let us study in detail about some of the important ports of India which were in the news. First one is Vadhavan project which we saw in the news. See, this port is India's 13th major port. Its expansion will make India as one of the top 10 container ports in the world. See, Vadhavan Port will operate on the landlord model, meaning the infrastructure is provided by the port authority, but the operations will be carried out by the private companies. See, this port will handle all type of cargo on large ships in all weather conditions. Okay, now the next port is Mumbai Port Trust. See, Mumbai Port Trust is India's largest natural port and seaport. Historically, it was used by fleets of Shivaji Maharaj. See, the port has three main enclosed wet docks. They are Prince Dock, Indira Dock and Victoria Dock. See, it's the busiest port in India. Note that the Javahar Dweep, an island within the port, is used to handle the crude oil and petroleum products. Next one is JNPT. See, it's popularly known as Hava Sheva and is located in Navi Mumbai. It was the first major port in India to operate entirely under the PPP model, that is Public-Private Partnership model. The name Nahasheva comes from two old settlements in the area. Note that JNPT is the largest artificial port and the leading container port in India. It started operations in 1989 and has grown from handling bulk cargo to become the top container port of India. See, it is accessible through Thane Creek near Elephanta Island. Next one is Chennai Port. Formerly known as Madras Port, Chennai Port is India's second largest container port after JNPT in Mumbai. See, it's the largest port of Bay of Bengal. Chennai Port is man-made, all-weather harbour with wet docks. The presence of this port has led Chennai to be called as the gateway of South India. Next one is Vizag Port. See, Visakhapatnam Port is a natural harbour and the second largest port in India in terms of cargo volume. It's located roughly halfway between Chennai and Kolkata ports. See, it's India's deepest port and it's known for shipping iron ore to Japan. The port also has facilities for building and repairing ships. The major trades include iron ore, coal, alumina and oil. Lastly, we are gonna see about Port Blair. See, Port Blair is located in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. It connects to India's mainland by ship and flight. This port lies between two major international shipping routes, namely those from Saudi Arabia and United States. It serves as a crucial link between the islands and the rest of India. So, these are all some of the important ports which were in the news. With this, you should also check the map of all the ports in India for mapping questions in the examination. This is all regarding the discussion. In this discussion, we saw about some important points regarding various ports of India which will be very useful for our preliminary examination. With this, let us move on to see the next news article of the day. Look at this article today. As of yesterday, at least 38 people died after consuming spurious liquor in the Kallakurichi district of Tamil Nadu. Additionally, 82 people are being treated in the hospitals. Following the news, the Chief Minister transferred the collector and suspended the district superintendent of police. The state has also deployed 2,000 police officers in the district. See, this tragedy is similar to the incident which happened last year in Chengalpattu and Viluppuram districts, where over 20 people died from spurious liquor. See, this is about the crux of the article. Let us learn the basics of spurious liquor and methanol poisoning in our discussion today. Firstly, spurious liquor, often called illicit or bootleg liquor, is an alcohol that is made illegally without following the safety regulations. It's typically produced in secret to avoid taxation and regulations, which means it often uses unsafe method and ingredients. Now let us see how it is made. As I said earlier, it is made using unsafe ingredients. Spurious liquor can be made from harmful substances or low quality ingredients. See, improper distillation is the main reason for toxicity in the alcohol. If the process of making alcohol using distillation is not done correctly, it may lead to the presence of toxic substances in the end product. See, why it is often deadly in nature. One of the main reasons for the spurious liquor turning deadly is because it contains methanol. In many ways, spurious liquor has typically been a homemade liquor to which methanol was added to strengthen the intoxicating effects. Okay, now let us see what is methanol and why it is added. See, methanol is a type of alcohol that is highly toxic to humans. Sometimes it is added to the illicit liquor to increase its potency or because it is cheaper than the safe drinkable alcohol, that is ethanol. See, methanol can be produced accidentally using the improper distillation of alcohol. Now let us see how methanol is being processed by our body. In every huge tragedy in the history of India and of the world since 1945, the poison has been methanol. When you drink methanol, your body processes it into the formic acid or formaldehyde. These substances are highly toxic and can cause serious damage to your organs like eyes, nervous system and liver. See, the effects of methanol poisoning include headache, dizziness, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain and confusion. See, serious effects can also lead to blindness, seizures, difficulty in breathing and even death. Now let us see if treatments are effective. Yes, but it needs to be immediate. If someone is suspected of methanol poisoning, they need to go to the hospital right away. Doctors can give antidotes like ethanol or fomepizole to stop the body from processing methanol into toxic byproducts. The other treatments include dialysis to remove methanol from the body and supportive care for the symptoms. See, following the Kallakurichi incident, the Chief Minister has constituted a one-member commission headed by former High Court Judge Gokul Das to inquire into the tragedy. So, let us see what happens in the future. See, this is all regarding the discussion. In this discussion, we saw about illicit liquor and the main ingredients which can cause death in it from the preliminary perspective. So, with this, let us move on to discuss the next news article of the day. Look at this article. The Odisha government has tasked the Health Department and RMRC with investigating a suspected diphtheria outbreak in Manuspadar village in Rayagada district. See, in this locality, 5 children died within 13 days in June. Moreover, RMRC confirmed that diphtheria is in the 5th case. The first 4 cases were not reported to the health facilities and were cremated locally, raising suspicions of diphtheria. See, this is the crux of the article. With this backdrop, let us discuss diphtheria in a brief from the preliminary perspective. Firstly, what is diphtheria? See, diphtheria is caused by a bacterium called Corynebacterium diphtheriae. This disease primarily affects the throat and upper airways. Also, this bacterium produces a toxin that affects the other organs of the body. The main symptoms of diphtheria are sore throat, low level of fever, swollen glands in the neck. See, the diphtheria toxin that is produced by the bacteria can cause a membrane of dead tissues which build up over the throat and tonsils. So, it makes breathing and swallowing a very difficult process. Next, let us see the mode of transmission of diphtheria. See, it can spread through direct physical contact. They also spread through air, which means they are airborne. So, even the cough or sneeze of an infected individual can be very dangerous to the healthy individual. If you see in the article, the health administration has told that all the family members or contacts would be administered with the necessary medication since it's an airborne infection. If you see diphtheria, it's fatal in 5 to 10% of the cases. High mortality, that is, the death rate can be especially seen among the young children. Diphtheria can be treated by administering diphtheria antitoxin. See, diphtheria antitoxin. See, this antitoxin will neutralize the effects of toxin. Also, the antibiotics are prescribed which will kill the bacteria. See, diphtheria vaccine is also available for cure. Diphtheria vaccine is a bacterial toxoid. Here, toxoid means a toxin whose toxicity has been inactivated. This vaccine is normally given in combination with other vaccines like DTP or pentavalent vaccines. Here note that DTP means diphtheria, tetanus and whooping cough vaccine, and pentavalent means DTP vaccine plus 2 more vaccines. Here you know that penta means 5, right? For adolescents and adults, the diphtheria toxoid is frequently combined with tetanus toxoid in lower concentration. Here, adolescent means the individuals in the group of 13 to 19 years. See, all these definitions are based on the National Youth Policy by the Government of India. WHO recommends a 3-dose primary vaccine series with diphtheria containing a vaccine followed by 3 booster doses. Just know this is from a knowledge point of view. You need not require this for exam preparation. If you see, primary vaccination series should begin as early as 6 weeks of age with subsequent doses with a minimum interval of 4 weeks between the doses. The 3 booster doses should be preferably given at the age of 12 to 23 months, at 4 to 7 years and at 9 to 15 years of age. Ideally, there should be at least 4 years between the booster doses. See, this is all regarding the discussion. In this discussion, we saw about diphtheria, the vaccines which is used to prevent the diphtheria from exam perspective. With this basic knowledge, now let us move on to discuss the next news article of the day. Look at this article. Recently, President Draupadi Murmu has appointed Bhartruhari Mahtab as the pro-term speaker of the 18th Lok Sabha, despite opposition criticism for bypassing the senior congressman Kodikunil Suresh. See, Mr. Mahtab will oversee the oath-taking of the new members, assisted by the panel of chairpersons from various parties. See, this move breaks the tradition of appointing the senior-most MP as the pro-term speaker. See, this is the basic of the article. With this backdrop, let us understand about pro-term speaker and the election process of the speaker from the preliminary perspective. Let us start with pro-term speaker. See, a pro-term speaker is appointed by the president under Article 95, Clause 1 of the Constitution. Also, the parliamentary handbook states that when the speaker post falls vacant before a new Lok Sabha, the duties of the speaker are to be performed by the member of house appointed for this purpose by the president as a speaker pro-term. Typically, the senior-most member of the Lok Sabha is chosen following the parliamentary tradition. The pro-term speaker's primary role, including administering the oath to the newly elected members and overseeing the election of the new speaker as mentioned under Article 99 of the Constitution. See, this article states that every member of the house, before taking his seat, make and subscribe before the president or some other person appointed in his behalf an oath or affirmation according to the form set out for the purpose in the 3rd schedule of the Constitution. See, they hold office temporarily, ensuring the house functions smoothly during the initial sessions. The pro-term speaker has the same power as the speaker for conducting the proceedings, but usually they do not make significant decisions. Moving forward, let us see about the election process of speaker in Indian Parliament. See, the Speaker of Lok Sabha is elected by the member from among themselves. The election is conducted in the House and is overseen by the pro-term speaker. The Election Commission do not play a direct role in the process. See, the candidates file nomination and a vote is held if there is more than one candidate. See, the speaker is elected by simple majority. See, this is all regarding the discussion. In this discussion, we saw about 2 important concepts in polity. They are pro-term speaker and the election of speaker from the preliminary perspective. This is all regarding the discussion. With this, now let us move on to the next part of a video, that is to discuss the preliminary practice questions. Today I am having 5 questions. I will solve 4 of them and one will be a quiz question for you to solve. Now let's get started. Look at the first question. With reference to diphtheria, consider the following statements. See, the first statement states that it's a bacterial airborne infection which spreads through cough, sneeze, etc. See, this first statement is a fact that has been already mentioned in the discussion, that is, diphtheria is a airborne bacterial infection. So the statement 1 is correct. Let us see the second one. Vaccines are not available to treat diphtheria. See, this statement is incorrect because from our discussion we know that we have a diphtheria vaccine used for treating this disease. We also saw that it's used in the combination as DPT vaccine or pentavalent vaccine. So the question is asked for correct statements. The correct option is option A, 1 only. Let us see the second MCQ of the day. Consider the following statements regarding the Speaker of Lok Sabha. See, the first statement. The source of power of the Speaker is from the Constitution only. See, this statement is incorrect because we know that the power derives from Constitution, rules of procedure and various conventions, etc. See the second one. The Speaker appoints the chairman of all the committees of the Parliament. See, this statement is also incorrect. See the third one. The decision of the Speaker on the money bill is final and cannot be questioned in any court of law. See, the third statement is incorrect as it is open to judicial review since the Aadhaar case verdict of Supreme Court. So, all the statements are wrong. So, the correct option is option D. See the third MCQ of the day. Consider the following statements regarding electromagnets. See, out of these three statements, statement 2 alone is incorrect because the statement shows that the energy loss is very least and they don't heat up. As we have seen in our discussion that electromagnets loses energy and they heat up. So this statement alone is incorrect. So the correct option is option B, only 2. Look at this statement. Consider the following statements regarding Indian ports. The statement 1 said that the Vadhavan Port is being developed as a joint venture between JNPT and Gujarat Maritime Board. Statement 2 says that Visakhapatnam Port handles the majority of India's coal exports. Okay, let us see the veracity of the statements. Statement 1 is incorrect because as we have seen in our discussion that Vadhavan Port is developed as a joint venture between JNPT and Maharashtra Maritime Board, not Gujarat Maritime Board. So this is incorrect. Okay, see the second statement. We know that Visakhapatnam Port is significant in handling various types of cargo including coal, but it does not handle the majority of India's coal exports. So this statement is also incorrect. So the correct option is option D, neither statements. The MCQ of the day is being listed here. Interested aspirants can comment the correct option in the comment sections. If you like today's video, like, comment and share it with your friends. For more updates regarding UPSC preparation, subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy. Thank you.